Hey everyone, Josh Rhodes here. I'm the CEO and founder of Agent Leads. And after working with over 50,000 real estate agents, brokers, top producers, and rookies all over North America, we've found that the industry itself isn't necessarily preparing all the agents appropriately. Even the veterans in the room always have a few things that they're just not quite sure if it's being done well or done correctly, or are they really leaving money on the table? And so I wanted you to be able to speak with someone with real life experience, with real life success in the trade. And she's sitting right here next to me. Her name is Miley Corona, and she was with eXp Realty, and she's been in our program and she's part of our family. And I wanted to ask her some real life questions so that you can kind of connect the dots and hopefully get on the same success trajectory as she is on. So Miley, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Josh.
So there's some obvious problems I think we all face in the real estate industry, specifically on the producer side and the sales side, that maybe you can help us address. I bet when you first got your license, that license all of a sudden wasn't a magical golden ticket to commission land.
Darn.
Right?
It wasn't.
It didn't just produce income.
Right.
So you went to a brokerage. It was a big name brokerage that we'll leave unnamed here, but they started telling you to do some stuff, probably,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Create some activity. What are some of those things that they were telling you to do that didn't work?
Well, first of all, real estate is a dinosaur industry. That's how I look at it. And when I joined, I knew that some things needed to change. And coming in as a brand new agent, I was being told I needed to be in the office all the time, that I needed to pound those phone calls at least 3 to 5 hour blocks of time a day. They asked me to not do videos, to not be on social media. Basically, anything digital was out of the question.
Right. Well, so we're on video right now. You're probably watching this in our training area or on some content marketing platform. So obviously, that advice was a little outdated. So give us a quick, I guess, 90-second movie trailer or less on your story. Kind of walk us through the question of why'd you become an agent or broker, a real estate salesperson, and why'd you make that decision? And then what was year 1, year 2, and what's year 3 been like so far? Because we'll talk about our numbers right now. It's really interesting, and I just want to hear it from the horse's mouth here.
Sure. So I started out because I chose real estate because I'm a mom of 4. There's really no flexibility if your child's sick or if you just need to be at like a play or an event. I just was not able to do that at a 9-to-5 job. My background is heavy in operations and marketing, and I had terrible experiences with realtors myself. I bought and sold many homes where I lived, and I was doing the job for them, and I just thought that was unfair. Many of our friends were asking us to go and look at homes with them and make decisions together. And at the end of the day, I was like, why don't I just do this for a living? I have 4 children, and we want a certain life for them. We want to leave a legacy for our kids. And we just knew that we wouldn't be able to do that with a 9-to-5 job where we were held and stuck to a desk. And so real estate really was a platform that we could really launch, something amazing out of.
Yeah, like entrepreneurship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, this was your entrepreneurial outlet or channel to provide the time and space freedom for your family.
Yep.
I love it. It's probably, if you're watching this video, similar to your cause or your why. And I guess that's really what your why is. So that's fantastic. So walk us through that transition. You get your license and you're getting some not so up-to-date advice.
Right.
So how long did it take you to realize, hang on a second, I'm not getting traction with this training that the big brokerage has given me?
Well, in just like 4 to 6 months, I was like, I am done. I want to get out of this. I need to do something that's going to be more up to date, and that's going to allow me to embrace ownership of my business, but also, the digital era that we live in. So I started looking elsewhere, and I almost left after 6 months. But it took me a little bit more time to kind of research the market and see what else was out there. So after a year, I left. I left a traditional brokerage. I joined EXP, the first and only virtual company, virtual brokerage in the world. We're global. That has really like been a huge thing for me. But in addition to that, what really, really changed me in my business was agent leads, because in that first 4 to 6 months, I realized I needed to do something completely different from this dinosaur industry, and I needed to be part of this digital era, and agent leads really helped me become a real life digital agent.
Yeah, so like if you're watching this video, we had the pleasure at Agent Leads to join Miley right as she was getting her license, and I guess there was a little bit of a dual voice. You had us on one shoulder and the big traditional brokerage on the other shoulder, and we were bringing you into the digital theater, if you will.
Yeah.
And we were generating leads and really leveraging social media advertising, and you were getting traction, right? You were getting contracts in the first 6 to 8 weeks.
I closed my first deal. I joined Agent Leads day one, got all these leads. I think it was like 70 leads all at once in a matter of like days.
Yeah.
And I closed my first deal just 4 weeks later.
Yeah. So you're obviously one of those people, and if you're watching this, you can get a ton of leads and not get results, but you have to add in the producer, right? It's leads plus talent. You're the talent, she's the talent, and I think that's a good learning opportunity right here in this interview, is that it doesn't just, magically happen.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So many agents I worked with were looking for a magic pill, and while they were looking for that magic pill, I was out there hustling. I had my head down, I was working hard, and I was working efficiently. Let me just expound on that a little bit.
Yeah.
I have never made a cold call in my career. I know so many people that take calls or make calls 3 hours a day, and I just think that that's crazy. I never made a cold call. The leads that I received through Agent Leads were calling me and asking me to help them in their sale. And so I just found that was a way more efficient and way more smarter, like just a smarter way to do your business, and a lot quicker.
Yeah, and let me back us up. There's basically 3 phases that we've discovered with Miley and our other successful clients, and she's kind of alluding to 1 or 2 of them right now. The first one, kind of like chicken and the egg. Before you get leads, you've got to be visible.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
There's a brand that you have as a person. Like Miley is a brand in her local market. Her EXP team is a brand that has a gravitational pull. Well, how do you get leads without being visible? Mm-hmm. So a lot of people are like, I want leads, I want closings.
Right.
But they don't have visibility. So you need to be doing jumping jacks in your local market, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
What are some ways that you on a constant basis are increasing your visibility, your brand awareness, and just making sure that people know you're there, top of mind type stuff?
Yeah, I really think your perspective is essential. I think that if you view the market as it's for you, you're already losing out. I think you need to realize that the audience and the market is at the tip of your fingers, and you need to be out there for them. And a way of doing that is, like I was told in the traditional brokerage, you've got to be at like 10 events this week, and you need to be friends with everybody, physically, like be in so many places all at once. And I just thought, how am I going to ever do that with 4 kids? And so when I went the digital route, my face was like blasted all over. And because there's so many users on Facebook, it just made sense to appear in a platform that, everybody and their mama sees you. So that made it so easy for me to be everywhere all at once without actually being there physically.
Yeah. So you went from politician marketing, I've got to go shake hands and kiss babies at the in-person one-to-one type events, mm-hmm. to kind of celebrity marketing.
Right.
I'm going to leverage the traffic and the oncoming traffic that's already happening on the highway of social media.
Right.
So brand is, I think one of the great things that you do is you leverage the power of video. Mm-hmm. You obviously use video a lot in different ways and et cetera. And we're going to talk more in our training and even in our system about how to leverage video. what are some different ways that they can use video? Maybe you're using it a certain way, but there are other ways too. Just talk to them about video for a second, either whether it's you on the camera or something else.
Well, first of all, just letting you in on a little secret. I hate being on camera. Like, I am uncomfortable as we speak. I'm sitting here and insecure, and I have to work through all of that as I'm doing this interview. Every time, it's never comfortable for me. Maybe it is for some of you, and if it is, oh my gosh, take advantage of it. But for somebody like me, I love people. I love my clients, and so I do it for them because I know it's going to serve them in a way that no one else can do. For me on video, the way I utilize it is I started off with just my phone. I mean, you have smartphones. We live in 2019. Use your phones. I just get on there. I use stories. I post all the time. I'm interacting with my audience so that they feel connected to me, and I know that that is the way right now. I may not agree with it, but it is the way that the world runs right now. Someone once told me that people get mad at Amazon and blame, platforms like Amazon for ruining everything, for ruining businesses locally and physically. But really, it's Amazon who has changed us, and we need to be on board in following that trend because that is how everyone operates now.
Yeah.
So really just start with documenting just your normal everyday activity in life off of your phone. And the high production stuff can come later. And we can talk about that a little bit later on. But I think for now, people just want to see you, and you can utilize your phone for that.
Yeah, because I think everyone watching this, in their local farm or their local market, they can identify one or two agents that are always top of mind. Mm-hmm. That really you're just kind of mad at, or you're sick and tired of hearing about them, or you're sick of their name. You want to become that agent, right? Like there's a lot of people in your local market who are probably really wish that Miley's name wasn't showing up so much. Her face wasn't showing up so much.
An agent told me just a few weeks ago, they were like, "You're always on my feed. I see you all the time." And I was like, "Oh, good, it's working."
That's right. So if you're that's a great milestone marker, is if someone starts a competitor starts complaining about your advertising, you're winning. And that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or when they start to copy what you do. I had a couple agents verbatim copy my exact post and use their own picture, but they used my words and everything. It was the exact post, and I was like, all right, I'm doing something right because they're copying everything I'm doing.
That's right. Yeah. Imitation is flattery type stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're visible. You become visible. That's kind of step one. Phase two or step two in the system is generating leads, which Miley's already talked about, and we can help you, obviously, with our system. We do all of the stuff that we're talking about. For example, we have an agent visibility campaign that if you're watching this video and you're not running it right now, make sure you get to it. There is a module about it specifically. And then we've got lead generation campaigns, and generating leads. We don't have to get into technical and like in the weeds of like what the campaigns are, but just talk about how important lead generation is. If visibility and brand is important, then why can't we just stop there? Why do we have to generate leads?
You always want your pipeline filled up. It doesn't mean that every single one of those leads are going to convert. I think that that's the misconception we're getting. I hear from all my colleagues and just even people that I talk to on the phone. They're like, well, does it give me leads? And what they're actually asking is, am I getting clients? Am I getting the conversion? And I'm going to answer that right now. I got so many leads, but did every single one of them convert? No, but 10% of them did. And so it matters bringing in a huge pool of buyers and sellers, and then you've got to do your job and be a responsible agent and start to invest in following up with all of those leads so that you can convert them into clients.
Yeah, 100%. And just to land the plane a little bit, the final phase of kind of the perfect client attraction system is follow-up, which is something that you will hear in a traditional brokerage. It is something that you'll hear. As a matter of fact, it's a tried and true discipline, just like any form of martial arts. You've got to be able to do follow-up.
Oh, absolutely.
And people, statistically, we know that agents are, well, I'll give the big one. It takes 8 to 12 touches. 80% of sales comes from 8 to 12 touches. But on average, agents are following up 2 times with a lead.
And late.
And late.
Yeah.
That's right, because I think there's another statistic that if you follow up in the first 15 minutes, you have a 76% higher chance of closing a deal. So, if those are the statistics, and those statistics come from the National Sales Executive Association and National Association of Realtors and other places, I'm kind of throwing in some numbers here, but my point is, if those are the kind of indicting stats, then why is follow-up hard? Why are the people watching this video struggling with follow-up right now? And what do you hope they will do with our system when it comes to nurturing their leads?
Yeah, I think again, going back to perspective, I think a lot of the misconception here is that the clients are there for you. But really, again, it's if you switch that around and you remember you're there for them, then you're going to hop on it a lot faster. If you're not there for them in the first 15 minutes, are you going to ever be there for them at all? That is the perception that the client receives when you don't get to them right away. A lot of my clients love me because I am very quick in my responses to them, and so they can trust me. That trust is not only established initially with your visibility, but it's established once they come into your pipeline, your response time, your speed is essential. Agent Leads has really laid out a great foundation for me, and then I can personalize it to my own style. But they've laid out a system that really works and is going to be there for your clients. And so then you can spend the more important time of doing the one-on-one with them because the system is already in place and working.
Yeah, and for the skeptics watching this video, you just heard what Miley, mother of 4, that her clients love her response times. And so that's a big deal because there's people watching this going, oh, I don't want to respond all the time. But I'm saying you kind of have to pay that tax until you have a portfolio large enough or a team built that can do that activity for you, correct?
And even without that, that should be your initial response to your clients initially.
Yeah.
With or without a big team, that should always be your ethic. And it shows. And the one thing I hear all the time is, you're fast. Yes, I am, because that system I'm using is already responding for me when I can't. Because of course, practically we can't be everywhere all at the same time. And so therefore you want to utilize a system that will work for you, and then you can do the fun stuff later.
That's right. So let me close our interview with saying this. I'm going to say some things that Miley's been saying this whole time that she just didn't say in particular words. If you haven't been noticing, what Miley's really been telling you to do is not just buy leads and call a couple of times and go through the motions, but to build a marketing asset, to build an ecosystem around you that's working on your behalf, but also participate in your marketing asset. We're in a trade where we're always helping people sell and buy assets, something that has equity in it. But the irony is the average real estate agent doesn't have any equity in their local market. And it's because they're not visible, they're not generating leads consistently, and they don't have a follow-up system that's really mechanically working.
Right.
Thank you, Miley, for sitting down with us and walking us through a few things. Just kind of pulling the curtain back for folks. I know it'll be helpful. Stay tuned for other modules and trainings in this area. We're excited to have you in our family.